Alrighty. So those of you who have jumped on, thanks for jumping on. We have Mitch, who's going to be talking to us tonight. And I'm going to record this so that others who haven't been able to jump on tonight will be able to hear it. So there you go, Mitch. I am going to mute myself because I'm sure my kids will interrupt.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about three-way calls and common objections that we get. So first of all, I want to say that before you have your upline get on a three-way call with you, it's really good if that prospect first sees like a video or some other third-party tool first. So, oh my gosh, there's a hole in my shirt. Sorry, I just discovered this. It's a new one I bought with Amanda. There's a hole. Okay. Anyways, where was I? Oh, so it's really good if they see a video first. So some of the videos that we really like to show prospects are May Darling's, it says triplex and opportunity type of, that's one of the videos I really like. There's also another like 2 or 3 minute one on just like the scientific details of triplex, depending on the type of information that your prospect wants. If they're more maybe on the business mind side, that May Darling one probably fits them. If they want more of the science side, then the other one, I can't even remember her name, but if you just search on YouTube, Plexus Triplex, it's going to bring her up. She's a nutritionist. So anyways, this is kind of, oh, sorry, I keep getting all these notifications. Let me try to silence. Okay. All right. So as you can probably see in the background, I am in the bathroom recording this because, yeah, it's basically the only room left that's quiet. So I apologize for the beautiful background. Okay. So when you want to do a three-way, what should you do? So the first thing is you have to bring it up to your prospect, right? So I want you to say something like, hey, Jill, I'm going to put us in a three-way message real quick. Now, this is if you want to do message. If you want to do phone call, you just say, hey, I'm going to jump us on the phone real quick with my friend Amanda, or my friend Mitch, or whoever your upline is. Don't say upline, say friend. Say friend. It will freak them out if you say upline. So say, I'm going, because we are friends, it's not a lie. So say that, hey Jill, I just want to get us on the phone call real quick with my friend Amanda so she can help explain XYZ. Something that your prospect is wondering the answer to, and you don't want to come across as the expert in the conversation, because if you come across as the expert and answer every single question that they have, they're going to think, oh my gosh, if I did this, I would have to know all the answers too. And we don't want them to think that. We don't want them to get overwhelmed, because we're here to help answer those questions and make it seem easy, because it is easy. It's easy to pull in that third party just to validate, just to answer those questions. So you're going to say, hey, let me get you on a three-way message or a three-way phone call with my friend Mitch, and she can help answer those questions for us. So then, if ideally, this is ideal. Ideally, you schedule a time. You can say, hey, can we do this at 2 o'clock today? And ideally, you're also messaging your upline at the same time you're talking to this person, saying, hey, is this time a good time to do a three-way message or a three-way phone call with so-and-so? Because sometimes they're not always when you're, so I would try to schedule that. Say, hey, could we do this afternoon or something like that? Now, what's a faster way to do this? Because sometimes people are like, well, one, they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait till the afternoon to do the three-way phone call. They don't want, yeah. nervous. They're already nervous. They're already asking questions. They don't want to wait for the answers. So a quick thing that you could do is start them on just a three-way message on Messenger. And then your upline can jump in when she's available or when he's available. And also an amazing function of Messenger is you can do three-way phone calls with Messenger. Amanda and I tried this out, and you can, when you have your message up on your phone, you'll see like where it has like a little video thing up in the corner. You'll click it, and you can call each person, and you're all in a three-way phone call. So you don't have to try to change numbers. You don't have to try to bring another person in, you know, just in case you might lose that person. So when you're discussing in your three-way message about talking, you can schedule a time, and then it's simple for that upline to just push the two buttons to call both of those people, like you and your prospect, and start that phone call. Okay, those are some of the logistics. Those are some of the how do we get to the three-way phone call type. Okay. If you have questions about those, put them down below, and I will try to answer those. I'm going to jump into the meat of your three-way phone call. So this is kind of what you should expect when you do a three-way phone call with your upline, or if you are going to do a three-way message or a three-way phone call with one of your downline and their prospect. This is kind of the formula that you should follow. So the expert, we're going to call the expert and the prospect, okay? The expert is that upline that you are pulling into that conversation, okay? So the expert is going to say, hey, Jill, it's so great to meet you. How are you doing? Out of all that you've seen so far, what did you like most? So, yes, I read that because it's excellent text, and I wanted to make sure you all got that. If you need me to, I will take a picture of my notes, and I can post them in the comments of this phone call. So that way you have the exact text of what I'm saying here if you're not able to take notes right now, because I know, Marvin, I think you're at work, so it'd be kind of hard for you to do that. But anyways, so let the prospect answer then, you know, because ideally they have seen that video and they can, you know, ask questions or what do they like most, because that will help lead the expert into knowing what they most want to know about, where their interests lie. So for about 60 seconds, that expert needs to relate to the person. That prospect may start asking questions, but the expert needs to say, before I get into all that, let me tell you a little bit about myself, since I'm not sure what all Cheryl told you. Now I picked Cheryl just because I was writing these notes when I was talking to Cheryl, I was writing these notes. So Cheryl's in my example here. But then you want to give your 1-minute spiel. Now, if you don't already have your 1-minute Bob testimony, you need to get one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, post it in the comments and let me know, and then I will post well, it should be uploaded in the Destination Diamonds files, I believe. Amanda shaking her head yes? Maybe?
I'm not sure if it's in the files, but I know we've posted it in the team page. So I'm sure if you search, but I mean, putting it in the comments below when we have this recording will be great as well. So we'll do that.
Okay, I'll do that. All right. So anyways, you want to give your 1-minute Bob testimony. And then the expert will say, Jill, do you have any questions for me? And then ideally that prospect will ask questions. And you want to answer those questions and nothing more. So let's say they say, well, I'm really looking for something with, to give me more energy. What product would I get for that? Okay, so this is what the expert would say. The expert would say, that's great. We have a couple different products. Are you looking for just one product that can replace maybe your 5-hour energy, or are you looking for something that's more going to help with, I blanked on what Slim helps with. Oh my gosh. Inflammation, cholesterol, lipids, things like that. And then, because she could go either way. She could go Slim or she could go Edge. We don't know how much she's going to afford. Ideally, we want her on Triplex. But if she can't, Edge, you know, we just have to start the conversation. And I don't want you to say more than you have to. So say it in as small amount as possible. Because if they have further questions, they're going to ask you those questions. So eventually, you're going to get to the point where that prospect has no more questions. Eventually you are. And then you need to lead into closing, because that's where I've heard a lot of us have trouble, is closing that deal. And I'm not saying that this phone call, are you going to be able to close that deal? I'm just saying that it's a potential, it's possible. If not, you set up a time to reconnect with that person, either that ambassador or that expert, or both of you together are going to follow up with that person to say if they're ready to, you know, sign up or whatever. Okay, so to close, the expert's going to say, okay, Jill, great. You know, when they say they have no more questions, let me ask you this. Do you see an opportunity? And then wait. Wait for them to answer. And 9 times out of 10, I'm sure they're going to say yes. And then the expert needs to say, are you ready to get started today? And then if they say yes, hang on, I gotta move my hair dryer. Sorry, no, that's really random, but it's in my way on my nose. Okay, if they say yes, then say, great. Are you in front of a computer? Let me walk you through the steps to get started. If they say no, or they aren't ready today, or, you know, they're hesitant about something, you say, okay, Jill, let's take a step back. So what information do you need to help you make a decision? And then they're going to give you what it is that they need to know. So you're going to kind of play that one by ear. You, again, don't give them more information than they need, and just let the prospect ask the questions, you answer them, and move forward. When they run out of questions again, you're going to go back and ask that same question. Is there any, ready, turn the page. I take these notes if I do a 3-way message, FYI, because there's way too many things to remember. Okay, and Bob Heilig, something like that, is an amazing network marketer. And if you are not following his podcast or watching him on Facebook, he does Facebook Live every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. If you're not watching those, you really need to be. So then so once you go through those questions again, because they weren't sure, you're going to say again, great, are you ready to get started today? And if they say no, again, then you need to go back, you need to schedule a follow-up, basically. Say, okay, great, if I could, or no, I don't know, maybe Amanda can jump in at this point. Would you say that you should have the expert jump in and say, great, can we follow up with you on such and such a date? Or should we say, hey, can Cheryl follow up with you on such and such a date?
I think really that part wouldn't matter. I think that the person whose prospect that is, obviously it'd be great for them to take the initiative to follow up, but follow up in that 3-way message with them so that your upline is in there. So that the person, the ambassador, not the expert, the upline, but the ambassador whose prospect it is, they should ask if they can follow up on such and such a date, but make sure that it is a date that you're going to be following up with them, so that they can be prepared and know that you are coming to them that day to follow up with them. And then make sure to do it. Set an alarm in your phone, because if you tell them you're going to follow up with them and you don't on that day, it just shows them that you're not serious. And people forget, and you don't want to be the one to forget. So I would say the ambassador, the middleman, should be the one to ask them if they can follow up on whatever date that is, and follow up in that group message so that the upline can tune in as well.
Okay. Awesome. Say instead of, are you ready? Say, do you feel better about getting started? Then, okay. All right, we're going to go into objections now. If you have questions, let me know, but we're going to go into objections. So one of common objections that people get, and this could happen in your three-way message that you get this objection, but it can also happen when you're just messaging with a prospect on your own. So they say, oh, I'm not a salesperson. Tell me more about that, Jill. That's what you say. Leave it at that. Don't say anything more. Don't say, do you mean this? Do you mean that? Just say, tell me more about that, Jill. And wait for them to say. Because sometimes when people just spew out, well, this is just a pyramid company, they really have nothing to back it up with, and they just are grasping at straws. So then they're going to struggle. They're going to realize how dumb that sounds, okay? So just wait it out. As hard as it is, just be quiet. Don't say anything except for, tell me more about that, Jill. So, and the reason that they might say that I'm not a salesperson is because they might have gotten the impression at some point by some network marketer that that all that network marketing is sales, and you constantly follow up with them and say, are you ready to buy? 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 They might have gotten that impression. They might have seen that from somebody else, and so that's why they might be hesitant and say they're not a salesperson. So if they say that, say, hey, Jill, did Cheryl get a chance to share that video with you? So the video meaning name. May Darling's triplex opportunity video. Because that kind of shows how simple it is to share products with people and how it's not like a salesy type of thing. When they say yes, say, do you think that you could just have someone watch that video? And they'll say, well, yeah, I mean, that would be easy. And say, well, Jill. Now this is a long paragraph and I'm reading it, and I'm also going to post the comments, but this is really good. Bob really nailed it with this one, okay? Well, Jill, your job is real simple here. It's not to sell, it's not to convince, it's not to explain. It's just to simply invite people to take a look at the video, invite someone to try the product, and some will be interested and some won't. Now, if someone isn't interested, that's great. We aren't here to sell to them, but if you have somebody who watches a video and tries the product and says they want more information, that's where we come in. See, that's why we're here, to support you. So if you're not able to get that person over the hurdle of not being a salesperson, then a lot of times she's not really a prospect. If she's really that adamant, she's not really a prospect. She's not really a prospect anyways for the business. She might be a prospect as a wholesale ambassador or just as preferred customer, but she's not going to run with the business. Not yet anyways. Not until she sees amazing results with the products, then she might, because That's how it happened for me. That's how it happened for Chelsea. That's how it happened for Amanda. So sometimes people just need to see it for themselves before they're going to want to share it with somebody else. So don't push it. Just fall back on the product line if they aren't interested in the business. All right. Some people will say, I don't have the time or the money. This one happens a lot. I would say more than the I'm not a salesperson one. Say, well then, Jill, I think that's the perfect reason for you to do this and get more free time and money. What are you doing differently to change that? If you don't do anything differently, 6 months from now, are you going to be able to have the time and money to do this then? And they're probably going to say, well, probably not. And then the expert will say, well, then let's get you working. Let's get to work solving these problems. So when they say they have no time or money, then you're going to help them find the time and show them how they do have the money. They do have the money because more than likely they spend money on things that they don't need, whether it's going to fast food all the time, buying junk food to stay awake, buying pops to stay awake, buying, you know the spiel. You all know what the other things that we have given up since we started with Plexus. My exercising partners are here. My dog's freaking out. Okay. And then the last objection that I have written down here is don't know that many people. And that is a ridiculous one, but this is what Bob says to say. What if we could tell you a simple strategy of how to meet more people? Would you be interested in getting started? And how do you meet more people? Friend request, mutual people. Join groups. Lots of different ways. Sorry, trying to put my hairdryer back. So those are my common objections. Those are my three-way call notes. Any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask me. Okay, awesome.
So,
I think that's it.
awesome. Thank you, Mitch, for that. Bob, high leg is amazing. And these three-way calls are seriously what will get you to the next level. If you're not where you are in your business, these three-way calls is what will get you there. It is not our job to look like experts. It is our job to invite people and bring them to our upline, our friend as well. We don't say upline, we say friend. But seriously, the times, I mean, Chelsea still puts me in three ways. Mitch still puts me in three ways. And they're senior gold ambassadors. So don't feel like you can't do a three-way message, because then it's going to make you feel like you like just don't know what you're doing, or that it's going to make you feel that way. And that's not what it is. It's just a third-party validation. That's really what it is. You can know the answer, but act like you don't know the answer, because you don't want them to think you know everything, because then they're going to think they need to know everything. Anywho, Angela, I seen you unmuted yourself. So did you have a question?
I didn't want to interrupt. This is so terrible, because the one three-way that I actually did initiate didn't even respond back. You remember? Because It's the only one I had. So it's like, oh my gosh, I already failed miserably at that one. But you know what's funny is I had made a post one day, and she made a comment on there and said, I haven't forgotten you yet. So she at least responded to me.
Yeah.
And so I private messaged her saying, it's not me forgetting or you forgetting about me. It's you forgetting about you. Don't forget about you. So I made it about her. And she at least gave me a smiley face back and said, I know. So, but that's my hard thing, is just even getting them initiated. I don't know why. Well, you know what? That past 3 weeks though has just been a mess. Edge totally helped me today. It really did, because I have not felt myself this past 3 weeks at all.
Okay.
So
glad that helped.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back in the groove, and
And you can also go into that message, the three-way message that we did have, and just comment in there again and just say, hey, I would love to get this conversation back going and see if we can get any of your questions answered.
Okay.
Just to start that back up again.
Okay.
Don't feel like that would be a bad thing. And just because she didn't respond doesn't mean somebody else won't. So make sure that you continue doing
Yeah,
that.
I know.
So, well, I hope that this helped you guys. I really want to see as many three-way messages as possible. I mean, Chelsea, whenever she puts me in them, it's like they, you know, and it's not that they don't trust her and that she doesn't know anything, but it's really the third-party validation that just gets people to jump on. And I see that you are unmuted, Chelsea, so what do you have to say?
I was just going to kind of piggyback on Angela's person who didn't respond and just let her know that that's normal, because I've been put in a couple three-way messages from my downline that never ended up responding. So that's where I thought, well, maybe it would be beneficial to actually schedule, and I've had other people in my downline, we actually schedule three-way messenger meetings. But maybe it's best to try to always schedule three-way messenger meetings with someone, and maybe that will up the chances of them actually responding. It doesn't happen a ton where they don't respond, but it's happened a couple of times. But maybe if we got them to agree to a specific time, maybe they would be more inclined to actually respond in that three-way message. So that's something that I will even implement, because I'm always like, just throw me in one and I'll respond to it as soon as I get to it, which is usually pretty like right away. But maybe I'll try to schedule.
Okay, so what about the ones that like they know the product works, they've seen everything, they are convinced, they know for a fact that it works, but yes, their situation is money, they have no job, and while I have one, like their husband is working, and that is their only thing, it's the money thing. And I've even brought up so do you bring them into a three-way even though they already know everything there is to know about the product? They're convinced, they want to do it, but it's just like right now it's Christmas, it's really hard with money, so would you even initiate a three-way conversation with that, because they already are convinced that the products work?
I do.
Yes.
I've gotten an ambassador from doing that.
Yeah. Because I think that whenever there's a money issue, you need to strongly lead with the business then, and bringing them into a three-way so that somebody else can validate that they can make some real good money with this. They need to hear that. If they have an objection of money, they need the business. It's plain and simple. So, and if they're completely written off with that, and I mentioned this as well, is people don't realize how much money they're actually spending on little things like going out to eat or a soda a day, or like tiny little things. If they just marked off on their bank statement on every month how much they spent, they could probably figure out. Okay, hold on. Listen. Okay. You could figure out that they are actually spending a lot of money. So, but yes, I would say three-ways for sure. And especially somebody that's going, that put them in a three-way that has a financial, like a big financial testimony. So, yes. That was a very long-winded yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, is that all we've got? Yeah. If anyone has any other questions, we are going to be posting the recording, and we're going to be commenting below with the things that need to be commented, and you can ask questions underneath that. So I hope you guys have an amazing night.
Thanks, you too.
And see you guys soon. Love you.